Kellyanne Conway, counselor to President Trump, joins us live. Kellyanne, good morning to you.
Hey, Kellyanne.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, so this anonymous, who is it?
I have no idea. I think the person probably wasn't banking on the fact that he or she would be so ridiculed, if not excoriated, right, left, and center at this point, because you even see Democratic members of Congress, right, left-wing liberals out there saying, hey, this is no way to express your opinion. Come forward, put your authorship on it. Lots of folks upset with the New York Times and the media who are saying, well, it better be somebody really super senior or else they would not have granted anonymity. I don't know who it is. I just know their type. And their type is very unimpressive. Somebody who doesn't have the moxie, the courage. Well, somebody who doesn't have the courage to come forward and say, this is my opinion. This is how I feel. And I think in large part because they don't have firsthand knowledge of what they're writing. This is not the president I know as described. This is not the decision maker and leader that I'm around every single day. There are those of us who are here because we believe in the president's agenda and we respect the fact that he is executing on it every day. Under these circumstances, to boot. The accomplishments of this president in the first 20 months would be impressive by any measure. But under the constant assault and attack that we all absorb, they're that much more remarkable. Everywhere I go in this country, and these are not pro-Trump or pro-Republican curated audiences necessarily, everywhere I go, people stop me. Even people who did not vote for Donald Trump for president and say, just keep going. Ignore the slights, ignore the insults. And look, when it comes to this person, too, I said it yesterday, I'll say it again. Cowards are like criminals. They eventually suss out themselves because they eventually confess or brag to the wrong person. And I suspect that's what will happen here as well. But I think the president should do what he does every day. Come to work, improve the economy. You can't argue with the jobs, the labor, the wage numbers, the explosive deregulation that's happening, the growth that's happening. As the president tweeted this morning, the unemployment rate is now lower than the GDP. We were promised a global recession. We got prosperity. We had 2% anemic growth under the last president who's trying to take credit. This president's presiding over 4% and more, talking about tax cuts 2.0, renegotiating trade deals so they're not so unfair and imbalanced. The Secretary of Labor this morning tweeted out that there are 100,000 mining and logging jobs created. Those kind of jobs, along with construction, manufacturing, may not matter to the ubiquitous millionaire media anchors in mainstream TV, but boy, do they matter, the forgotten man or forgotten woman. Hey, by the way, I was so excited this weekend. Did you notice? We finally found a Democrat who thinks the economy is doing well under President Trump, President Obama.
That's right.
We found a Democrat.
But it
he doesn't understand his
him.
party's messaging. But it's so funny to me because his Democrats in the party are saying the economy's not doing well. We have to improve the economy. The economy's not doing well. The tax cut hasn't benefited the 7 million Americans who got bonuses or raises or both. The corporate tax rate going from 35 to 21 and unleashing the repatriation of trillions of dollars of wealth.
Kellyanne,
and all of a sudden, President Obama wants credit for the economy the Democrats say don't really exist. It's pretty funny.
Well, yeah, we're going to play a soundbite from him, too, because he's done a video, not only 2 campaign appearances, but he's got a video out. But I just want to ask you, Nikki Haley had an editorial out saying that she disagrees with the president, but she tells the president to his face, and she's proud to serve for this administration. What are your thoughts about that? Is that something that gets approved by the White House? Were you guys okay with that?
Well, Ambassador Haley made a few comments that I know to be true every single day. She's absolutely right when she says this is a president who welcomes, he accepts, if not expects, dissenting points of view, disagreement. He has people talking about trade and tariffs, for example, who are on differing sides of the trade spectrum. He has folks who have different opinions on the Second Amendment, on abortion, on the border adjustability tax, on whether to do the corporate tax cut from 35% to 15 to 20 to 21. He is somebody who takes the counsel of many different advisors and then weighs the different consequences and options and knows exactly that he is the only one, he and Mike Pence in this building, the only 2 people who are elected to anything, and he makes the ultimate decision here. That's what leadership does. Leadership doesn't shut the door and just sit there, toss a coin in the air or say, this is what I promised the campaign trail, I must do it. Absolutely, exactly. So, this is somebody who takes the counsel, who feels free and comfortable enough in his job to do that and then makes a decision on his own.
So you were okay with that? The White House was okay with the editorial?
I'm telling you that there are parts of the editorial, I read it once, and there are parts that ring true to me, which is he also has a cabinet, and Ambassador Haley's in the cabinet, of people who are able to come to him and say, Mr. President, you've asked us to execute on this. Here's the progress report. Here's what we've been able to do. Here's what we can't do yet. Here's the vision in the future. And by the way, often in these cabinet meetings, the press is in the room when many of those reports are happening. They don't want to cover it, but the American people can find it online. I'm sure we have it on whitehouse.gov if they want to access the president's relationship with his own cabinet and what those subject matter experts are doing to help the American people.
Kellyanne, you said over the weekend that the president doesn't want that person in a meeting where he's discussing China and Russia and North Korea. You said any president should have the comfort and the freedom to speak with his national security team. You've been with this president since the beginning. After this anonymous op-ed was written, has it changed? Have your meetings with the president, has it changed? Because he's always probably wondering who's in this room, who wrote that anonymous op-ed.
Well, I think under Chief of Staff John Kelly, the meetings have gotten tighter and smaller already. And that's for a number of reasons. I just think it's better to have the people who have visibility into the issue, as I just said, the subject matter experts and a few others in these particular meetings. And when they need to be expanded, then maybe that's an issue that will be looked into. But I also I'm not convinced. I have no reason one way or the other, but I'm just not convinced this is a true senior level official or a senior White House official. I have no way of knowing one way or the other, but I would imagine if the New York Times could have said senior White House official, they would have.
Right.
I could be wrong, but so I'm not really sure this is somebody who gets his or her information about the president except from cable TV or a few memos that are in the system or a principal coming back from a meeting and relating one or two anecdotes. Those of us who have the privilege of serving at the highest levels in this White House or in this government, we take our responsibility seriously. And those who don't, get out today, because you should be named, blamed, and shamed for not having the courage to come forward. By the way, if the stated intention, the op-ed was to be patriotic, the person is just pathetic. As I said, they're being slammed right, left, and center. I hope they don't get the hero's welcome as soon as they're sussed out and revealed. I hope people see this person for who he or she is, which is somebody who is not willing to face, the cross-examination of cable TV, if you will. In other words, you feel this way, well, tell us why, or be specific. And you even see folks anonymously, some on the record in the Woodward book. I think the main problem in that book is the two-person conversations that are being related without the second person ever being consulted. Right. Did you say this? Is it true? So you now have Governor Chris Christie, Mayor Rudy Giuliani, Ivanka Trump told me to tell everybody, me, others are part of the two-party conversation where we're not asked, did you in fact say this? So there are some people who just want to sit with authors all day long and they end up getting free rein. I don't expect that Bob Woodward himself would have checked the facts, but how about a fact checker in some of these publishing houses? This is probably the fourth or fifth book in a row where folks aren't necessarily checking the facts with the people who have the quotes attributed to them.
Well, he stands by it. He says people from the White House did say that, but who knows who those people are? They might just have an axe to grind. Kellyanne, thank you very much for joining us live.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too.